Good day everyone. Children, you have done very well in the unit test. That is the first thing I wanted to tell you all. Very good, keep it up. In the forthcoming test, you have to do still more better. Okay? Yes. In our previous videos, we were learning about our India physical diversity. Isn't it? We had learned about the different physical features of our country. Which is our country? India. Yes. So we had learnt about the different physical features of our country. In that we had finished about the northern mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, and as well as coastal plains. Now today in this video we are going to learn the concepts, the desert of India. What is a desert? What are the characteristics of desert? And where do you find the desert region in our country? All these things you are going to learn in this video. Then you are going to learn about the different rivers of India. Particularly the South Indian rivers. Where does it take birth? How does it flow? And where does it join? All these things you are going to learn. And you are also going to learn about the climate of India. See, even in the climate also there is diversity. Climate is not the same all over the country. Isn't it, children? That also you are going to learn in this video, how the climate differs from region to region and particularly which climate will be there in particular in all the seasons. That you are going to learn. Not only that, you are going to learn about the diversity of plants and animals in India. Diversity. Again, here variety. In India, you find a variety of animals as well as plants in our country. That also you are going to learn in this chapter. I want everyone to listen to the video properly and then answer my questions after you watch the video. Before learning the location of the deserts of India, let us know what is a desert. Now you can see the picture here, children. By seeing the picture itself, you would have understood what is a desert. Still, a desert is a big, dry and sandy area. In Kannada, we call it as Marubhume. In a desert, rainfall will be very less. It will be very little rainfall. So this area will have little vegetation. Vegetation means plants that grow on themselves when the rain falls. Such plants are very less in this area as the rainfall is very less. It will be very hot and dry, a windy area. This wind is called as hot desert wind. Now we shall learn about the location of the desert of India. We call this as the Great Indian Desert, or it is also called as the Thar Desert. It is the largest desert in India, a barren, dry and empty place. So this land is very, very hot with vast quantity of sand. We can locate that a large part of Rajasthan is a desert. This desert is named as the Thar Desert. The features of a desert. How desert will be. What are the characteristics of a desert? As we have learnt in the starting itself, a desert is a vast means very big, dry and sandy area with very little vegetation. The temperature is very high and climate is dry. Always it will be very hot in deserts. Scarcity of water. Scarcity means shortage. Shortage of water is because of scanty rain, because of the less rain. A fertile area in a desert is formed where the water comes up that is to the ground level. This is known as oasis. The travelers who travel through these deserts depend on oasis for water for themselves as well as their camels. You know, camels are used in deserts because the camels are the only animals that have been that can walk through the sand easily. That's why the people use camels as the traveling basic means of transport in desert. Now in deserts you can find the plants and trees that can withstand a long time of drought. Drought means without having rainfall. The plants and trees that grow and that can stand for a long time without much water, such kind of plants and trees are grown in these deserts. For example, scrubs, cactus, acacia, thorny bushes. You can see in these pictures, children. These kind of plants and trees which need a less quantity of water, and without much water also they can stand for a long time. Such kind of plants and trees are found in these deserts. Now, why these deserts have less rainfall? Why Thar desert in India gets less rainfall? What is the reason for that? Now we will see that. What is the reason for the less rainfall in this area of Thar desert? The Aravalli mountain ranges extends into the eastern fringe of the Thar desert. You can see this Aravalli mountain ranges in this Indian map, children. This actually prevents the winds blowing from the east, which causes scanty rainfall. See in this map you can see the green part. That is the Aravalli mountain ranges. That actually becomes in between the Thar desert and the eastern part of our country, which prevents the winds blowing from the east to the west, that is to the Thar desert region. It prevents the winds blowing to the Thar desert. So there will be less rainfall. Understood, children? Therefore, this part has dry climate. Now, we shall learn about the dressing habits of the people of the desert. As you all know, the climate in the desert will be very dry, and the sun also will be burning very hot. So the dry climate and the hot sun causes a feeling of severe burning in the body. To get relief from this heat, people wear long robes, and men they wear turbans also. You can see the dress worn by these men and women in the region of desert, that is in Thar desert. The lack of water, that is water is very little or less, and the blazing sun, very scorching hot sun, determine the type of desert animals. Animals also have to adjust to that severe hot climate and also the lack of water. Which animals can adjust there? So the animal that can adjust there is the camels. Camels are called the ship of the desert. These camels are able to survive in the desert because they have broad, flat toes which are comfortable to walk on the sand. Their humps store fat and sufficient amount of water which lasts for many weeks. You can see this camel, children. The marked red color part is there, no? That is called hump. These camels, they store food and water there in their humps, so that it can walk for a long distance in deserts, because you don't get any water or plants in desert. In deserts you don't get any water or plants. And so these camels are called as the ship of the desert because they are useful in transporting goods as well as carrying passengers in the desert. That is why these camels are called as ship of the desert. Even agricultural activities are found around the oases. I have told you about oases. What are oases? Here they grow bajra, jowar, maize, sesame, dates and chilies. These crops are grown in desert regions. And in these desert regions, not only in desert regions, in some places we find salt lakes in these deserts. These salt lakes in deserts are known as playas. For example, there are many salt lakes in this desert region. They are Sambar, Didwana and Sargol lakes. What are these salt lakes? As the name itself says that it is full of salt. When the rain is not there, the water gets evaporated and the remaining part, what will be there? You can find salt there. Salt residues can be found in these salt lakes. Here they say that more than the sea, the content of salt will be more in these salt lakes. The Sambar lake is the largest salt lake in India. This is about the desert region. You have learnt about the kind of the buildings built in desert. That is, marble rock is available in plenty in this desert region. So the buildings that are built in Rajasthan, where you find buildings built of marble. Because of the environment and climate, that influence is there even on the art and architecture. So there are very big and beautiful palaces built by experts, which are the best examples of rare architecture in the desert. Jaipur, Ajmer, Pushkar and Mount Abu are places famous for such architecture in Rajasthan. This is about the great desert or great Indian desert or the Thar desert or the deserts of India. Now we shall learn about the rivers of India. Here also there are many river systems in India. They are our natural resources, you know. So here even in the rivers there is diversity, differences there. How are the differences in rivers? In their origin, where they origin, where they take the direction of flowing, and how much of water content is there in different rivers. All these are different. So there is also variety even in our river system. So our river systems of India can be classified into two groups. That is North Indian rivers and the South Indian rivers. We have already learnt about the North Indian rivers, the rivers of North India. Which are the major river systems of North India? We have already learnt Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra and their tributaries. Tributaries means small rivers that flow from the original river, from the big rivers. They are called as tributaries. Most of these originate in Himalayas. Most of them rise in the Himalayan mountains and they are perennial rivers. That means they flow all through over the year. All the year they flow with water. Why means in winter and rainy season rain will come. In summer season the Himalayan mountain snow melts and the water flows. So all through the year they flow with water, full of water. Then these northern plains rivers, when they flow all the places, they bring along with them alluvium. We have already learnt. This is a thing which makes the soil fertile. They carry with them the alluvium and it is spread all over the places wherever they flow. So the northern plains are very fertile due to the deposition of alluvium which is carried by the rivers of North India, and they are the best for agricultural activities. That's why they are called the storehouse of food. We have learnt all these things. So in these river banks there are many famous ancient and historic pilgrim centers. They are on the banks of the many North Indian rivers, such as for example Delhi. Delhi is on the banks of the river Yamuna, even Agra, and Varanasi on the banks of the river Ganga. So many pilgrimage centers are there on the banks of this Himalayan origin rivers. Now we shall learn about the rivers of South India. The rivers of South India can be divided into two groups. First one is the east flowing rivers, and the second one is the west flowing rivers. The important east flowing rivers are the Mahanadi. Remember properly children, the Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna, the Kaveri, the Palar, and the Pennar. These rivers are east flowing rivers. They flow southeast and eastwards and join the Bay of Bengal. So they are called as the east flowing rivers. The important east flowing rivers are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, the Palar, and the Pennar. Here ends the topic of the rivers. Here ends the topic of the rivers. Now we shall learn about the west flowing rivers. Which are the west flowing rivers that flow towards west? The important west flowing rivers are the Narmada, the Tapi, the Sharavati, the Kali, the Netravati, the Zauri, and the Periyar. They flow westwards and join the Arabian Sea. These rivers are very short and swift. Swift means very fast. These rivers are suitable for generating hydroelectricity as there are many waterfalls.